Hello, it's Josie. Welcome back to my channel. This is how you make a perfect matcha latte. What you're gonna need for this is a matcha bowl, also known as a chawan, a matcha whisk, also known as a chazin, a small sifter to sift the powder, any type of matcha spoon, a half teaspoon or one of these traditional matcha scoopers, a food scale or measuring cups, a cup of your choice. Today I'm using these to-go cups. A ceremonial grade matcha powder. This one is from Micro Ingredients and it's the organic ceremonial grade matcha. It has to be ceremonial grade, that is the key. A glass or dish to bloom your whisk in. And then you'll also need ice, milk of your choice. I'm using almond, a kettle, and a milk frother if you choose to make a hot one. This is my tea kettle. It is warm but not boiling. The key is you never want boiling water for your matcha because it will scald the matcha and make it taste bitter and remove the antioxidants from it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is bloom the whisk so that the bristles are soft. This is my whisk. As you can see, the bristles are already kind of bloomed, like they come kind of curled up. I'm just gonna put it in this glass mug and then put some warm water and just let it soak so that it's soft for when I'm stirring the matcha and water. Okay, now I'm gonna take the matcha bowl and my matcha. Matcha can come in a tin like this or a bag. It really doesn't matter. The reason I have a bag right here is because the bags hold a larger amount of matcha if you wanna buy it in bulk or just have it to last a little bit longer. It has to be in an airtight container and I recommend that it prevents it from being exposed to the sunlight so it lasts longer. The key for a non-clumpy matcha is to put it in a sift. I'm gonna take the traditional matcha spoon, but if you want to know exactly how much matcha you're getting, because typically I say 2 grams is a good amount. This is a matcha spoon, but it's 1 gram of matcha, which is equivalent to half a teaspoon. So if you have a teaspoon, you could just do 1 teaspoon. So I'm gonna pack it down, 1 gram, and then I'm gonna do 1 more gram. If you want, you can do more, less, depends how much caffeine you want and how strong of a matcha flavor you would like. So next I'm gonna use this traditional matcha spoon, or you could use the one you just used, and push that through so it's sifted through. The key for a non-clumpy matcha is to use a sift, otherwise the water can cause the matcha to clump. Now that I have my matcha in a bowl, I'm gonna take my food scale and zero it out and put it to fluid ounces. Now I'm gonna take this warm water and I'm gonna do 2.5 fluid ounces of water for 1 matcha shot. I did a little bit more by accident. Okay, so now that I have the warm water and matcha in a bowl, I'm gonna take my bloom whisk and start by just getting all the things off the side by going round. And then you're gonna start whisking in an M and W motion with your wrist until it's all mixed together and you see sort of like a microfoam form on top. And then once you come to the end, I would say do it for about 30 seconds is typically how long I do it for. And then you're gonna start slowing down your whisking and then bring it up. Okay, now that we have our matcha shot, we are gonna start assembling the latte. Okay, so I have a couple of ice. I like a lot of ice in my ice drinks. I don't know, that's just my personal preference. You don't have to do this much. But then you're gonna do milk for this size cup and this amount of ice. I put about 5 ounces of milk. I think that's a good amount of milk for a latte. And then I'm just gonna, almost forgot the sweetener. So sweetener you can do, if you want, you can do maple syrup, honey. I'm using this vanilla bean syrup. So this is about 1 ounce. I'm making this one for my sister and she likes it pretty sweet. So you can really do as much sweetener as you want, but I really like vanilla bean syrup like this because you can actually see the vanilla bean flecks. Such a nice vanilla flavor. Now I'm just gonna mix the milk and the syrup so the syrup is not all at the bottom. I'm gonna pour the matcha shot on top. This is what I call a perfect matcha latte. For warm, you're basically gonna do the same thing. Make the matcha shot with warm water, put milk of your choice in a frother or heat it up however you prefer to heat up your milk, put syrup if you want, and then combine them and then it makes the hot one. But yeah, that's how you make a perfect matcha latte.